All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Bryce, the head of growth marketing here at Delphi. Today, we also have Chetan, who is our Salesforce admin and CRM hero. Chetan, you want to say hello real quick?
Hello, everyone. Hope you're going to enjoy this session.
I know I'm looking forward to it. But we're going to spend the next 15 minutes talking about one of the largest challenges most companies struggle with, and that's managing duplicates. The duplicate problem has been around since the birth of Salesforce, but current solutions don't fit today's complicated tech stacks and are still very much reactionary. And I'll get to this in a bit more detail later, but first, I'm curious about where the most duplicates live in your org today. And so I have a poll real quick, and if you could just take a moment to respond to it, that would be awesome. Okay, and as you're filling out that poll, I'll run you through our agenda real quick. So first, today we're going to be talking about duplicates, their sources, the impacts that they have on your operations, and the benefits of eliminating them. Chet then will give us a demo on how Delphi can make this process significantly easier with AI and automation, and how you can turn your CRM into a proactive engine that keeps your data unique and actionable, or what we claim to be the conditions necessary to achieve a true customer 360. We'll reserve some time at the end for a live Q&A, but feel free to send us questions at any time during this webinar, and we will try to get to them in real time or save them for the end. So for most of us that use Salesforce, we're using it for our sales operations, and we'll find that duplicates pop up in our key objects, starting with leads, contacts, accounts. And if you're using the Service Cloud, then maybe it's your case duplication. Those familiar with email to case and are using it today probably have been dealing with this problem of duplicate cases for a while now. But before we can act, we need to understand the source of our duplicates. And so we've sort of summarized what our clients today, the different categories or buckets where these sources come from. And so it begins with the first one, which is legacy data. Many have inherited data from acquisitions or decided to bring in old data into your Salesforce, and that creates duplicates. It's also hard to manage for these folks, as many of the inputs may not have been standardized or different from your current Salesforce practice. So it's hard to detect the duplicates, even with the Salesforce duplicate management feature. The next one is age data or data decay. Right? So today, contacts, they may be changing jobs, titles, getting married, maybe their names are changing, et cetera. But 20% of your contacts on an annual basis are going to be changing some sort of relocation. And so that can potentially create duplicates, because if you don't update the context, then you're going to have potentially the same duplicate working for two different accounts. And following, the next one is our tech stacks. They're also a source of duplicates because maybe we haven't built in the correct restrictions when it comes to our web to lead forms, maybe our marketing events, maybe the integrations into our other databases or tools that we're using. And the next one is multiple databases. So companies also struggle with these duplicates across multiple orgs or databases. Merging these databases can create duplicates, but another challenge is, how do you detect the duplicates across orgs? Maybe you don't want to remove them, but you want to establish a relationship across your orgs. And then the last one is ourselves, the end users, lovely error-prone humans, where if we aren't directly creating duplicates, then our lack of managing records correctly may be indirectly contributing to the problem. First of all, it's either we're doing typos or misspellings, or maybe we're actually breaking the rules inside of our Salesforce just to be able to advance our work processes to the next stage. And that potentially can be creating duplicates, especially in the future. And so the worst part about duplicates is that they're like weeds. If we don't maintain them, they're just going to continue to multiply and obstruct our operations. On average, 10 to 30% of our data in your org is duplicate. And this number can double in as fast as a year. And so now, if you don't know exactly how many duplicates exist in your org or the extent of the problem, I suggest that you look at the symptoms or the opposite of these benefits I'm going to show you, such as, are your team members having stalled productivity on data verification? Do you know from your marketing team or your BDRs who are doing prospecting that they have a high bounce rate when they're doing cold emailing? Is there confusion or a lack of trust in the customer data? Maybe there's internal fighting over ownership of leads and accounts because the duplicates have been assigned to different individuals. Maybe you're hearing management being upset about having inaccurate forecasts or the inability to execute on strategic selling plans because they aren't able to forecast into the future. Or maybe you're getting a low NPS score from customers going through your customer success channels. And so that's why we created Delpha, because we're able to eliminate all of these problems by detecting 100% of your duplicates. We use sophisticated AI that surpasses all current exact matching and fuzzy logic restrictions to have more accurate detection. But we're also able to help you prepare your data to find gaps in the data or the errors with the inputs to enrich and correct these issues, further strengthening the deduplication process. And during the merge, we can also help you post-process your inputs or your fields to ensure certain fields reflect the truth, such as adding values together instead of replacement. Maybe your marketing team wants to collect that the website visits on two different leads are added together after the merge versus being replaced by one value. And our approach offers your team 3 different solutions that are aimed at elevating the amount of time, sweat, and cost that goes into deduping data. For maximum productivity, you can automate the merge, or as a data steward, you can also work off from a list view. And if you determine that there's still too much ambiguity between a duplicate pair, and you want to rely on the contextual knowledge of the record owner, then you can send it to the end user to make that decision and manage the duplicate. And then depending on the quality of your data, but essentially you could turn on autopilot to take off a third of your duplicates. You could do another third from the data steward who's going to work in a large batch, and that last third could go to the end user. But with Delpha, we can also help you improve your overall quality using our enrichment and bad data detection features so that you can increase the quality of your database and that you can then be relying more on the autopilot to maximize the benefits. Our list view shows you all of the matched pairs with your preferred fields to be visible along with the confidence scores. This way, you can conveniently process large lists in one go and still have the human oversight of the decisions. On the right is the score, and this is unique. We're the first ones to provide you with these scores that explain the why behind why we've detected a duplicate pair. And lastly, this is what the end user experience would look like. They have a convenient interface to give them all of the data to be able to manage all of the detected duplicates with a specific contact or account record, for example, in real time. And so eliminating duplicates for good is what we can offer our clients and help them realize a true customer 360, which is expected from today's clients. And so I'm going to stop there. I'm going to pass it over to Chethan, who's actually going to show you the more exciting part to see how this works inside Salesforce. Take it away, Chethan.
Thanks, Bryce. I'm excited to share our approach on deduping data through Salesforce. To begin, Delpha analyzes your data to give a high-level overview of the current data quality using dashboards and reports. The Delpha dashboard gives the information about the key data quality issues identified on your org. For example, the total number of contacts with email issues, the number of contacts with misspelled names, and so on. But for this session, let's just focus on the duplicates. As you can see, Delpha has identified 108 duplicate contacts, 43 duplicates, accounts, and so on. So if you assess duplicates and other objects, the similar reports can be added on the dashboard, so you get a high-level overview. For duplicate detection, it is important to be aware of the fields that are used for duplicate detection. So creating a completeness report on the key fields gives you the confidence in the fields that can be used for duplicate detection. For example, the website, if website is used for duplicate detection of accounts, and if more than half of your website, as in this case, is missing, then a large number of duplicates will not be identified. So the best practice is to identify 3 to 5 key fields which are complete on most records, and preferably fields with unique values. For example, you can use the LinkedIn URL or email along with a combination of some other fields. Now let's see how to define fields for detecting duplicate contacts. Delphi allows both exact and fuzzy, a combination of both these matching to identify duplicates. So for contact, once you define all the necessary fields that are necessary for identifying duplicates, you can also define the type of matching, which can be the fuzzy or the exact matching. And then the Delphi starts assessing all your contacts and identifying duplicates. So once the duplicates are identified, you can see all the list of duplicate pairs on the DDQ duplicate record list view. So now let's switch to the data stored list view so we can get an overview on the duplicate pairs identified. So this list view will provide you with all the duplicate pairs that have been detected. In this case, it's the duplicate contact. You can easily compare a contact against matched contact. It's basically the field of the contact against matched contact fields. In this case, the email is different, as you can see. Delphi also gives you the confidence score on the match. So this confidence score can help you as a data store to make a decision on if you want to merge it or ignore it, whatever. So as a data steward, like I said, you can choose the preferred course of action for each pair in this column. Firstly, you can set them up to be processed automatically. For example, if you want all the records with 100% confidence or the scores above 90 to be merged automatically, you can just define it. It's just one step process. And Delphi is going to automatically merge all the records above the confidence score. Secondly, you can even evaluate records on this list view. You can multi-select the records whichever you want to be merged instantly, and you can just change the status to auto yes, and the records are going to be merged at the end of the day. And finally, you also have the end user, which I'm going to be talking in a bit. So Delphi also gives you the flexibility to customize the merge process, which includes both pre-processing or the post-processing using simple flows. Again, lastly, as Bryce mentioned, sometimes important contextual information can be lost in the current large batch solutions on the market. So if your data team prefers that the end user needs to make the final decision based on the ambiguity or the low confidence score, or even just because of the reason that the end user are the one working on their own records, so you don't want to merge any of these records, we have the end user view. Let me just show you the end user view. I'm just going to open a contact. As you can see, Delphi is at the bottom right corner here. So as soon as the contact is open, Delphi starts analyzing this contact to detect if there's any duplicates or even data quality issues identified for this record. As you can see, Delphi is telling that there are 3 issues identified with this contact. Now, if I click on this, I can see the duplicate contact recommendation here. Delphi is showing me the list of duplicates associated. It has detected another contact called the Samantha Parker. You can see the values of the fields of the identified pair. You can see that the email is different. The LinkedIn URL is different because in this case, the LinkedIn URL is missing. Based on this, we have a confidence score of 39%. So many folks struggle with the proper detection because of incomplete data. As you can see here, the LinkedIn contact URL is missing. Delphi can also offer enrichment services. It can be the LinkedIn URL on the account's websites or even email on the contact. So that as an end user, you can collect more data into each of your records and improve the confidence score, not just the confidence score, the completeness of your overall record. So now in this case, if I go back to the recommendation and open the confirm LinkedIn profile recommendation, Delphi is telling me that it has identified the right LinkedIn profile, the URL for this particular contact, and it can help me enrich. And it's also telling me that it is 100% confident about the link. So if I click on yes, Delphi is going to automatically update the contact URL. And not just that, it's also going to fetch me the information from the LinkedIn and update this contact. Now, if I go back to the duplicate contact, you can see that the confidence score has gone up from like around 35 to 76, just because we have another key piece of information here. Now, in this case, once I'm confident as an end user that these records need to be merged, I can click on the record and click on next. So at this step, the end user has the ability to select the master record. Again, if you define the master record rules and the field exception rule, this is done automatically. You can just go to the next step. In this, I'm just going to keep the current record as the master record and go to the next step. And next, you have the option to select all the fields which you think are the right values. You can evaluate the fields. Only the fields which are different are shown here. Also, the fields which are empty on both the fields are not shown here. So I can just select what are the right values. And again, these fields are also selected automatically. So if you think that something needs to be changed, you can go ahead and change as an end user. And after this, I can click on update the master record. Finally, we have this option of merging these two records. I can either merge both the records with the related items or without the related items. Based on your use case, you can select one of these options. I'm going to select merge with all the related items. So both the records have been merged and we won't have that recommendation again. So we won't have the recommendation again. So you can see how easy is it from an end user point of view to just click on the bot, see all that duplicates identified, and then finish the deduplication process. To conclude, Delphi provides all the necessary features to assess, enrich, and handle duplicates automatically or with the help of end users. It also provides flexibility to customize the detection and the merge process. With this, I'll pass it back to Bryce for the Q&A session.
Awesome. Thanks, Chethan. That was great. And as you said, we're going to keep it short. So there were a couple questions that came in. So Chethan, I'm just going to go straight into them. The first one that came in was somebody was wanting to know what is the difference between our solution and what Salesforce offers with their duplicate management feature.
There are actually a lot of differences. Firstly, not all fields support fuzzy logic matching on Salesforce. Secondly, the match done by Delphi, as you saw, is not binary. Delphi provides a confidence score saying high or low. So as an end user, you can make the right decision. Sometimes some records might have very low score, but you know that it's actually the right one. So you can make that decision. And Delphi also provides the user interface for the data steward. So if it's just the admins managing it, the data steward can handle it. If it's the owners who want to manage it, we have the end user view and also the automation to take care of every tiny aspect in your journey. The list goes on. So I think it's better we share the link of the article, providing a detailed comparison at the end of the webinar.
Sure. And what about the amount of data that we can process? Is there any limitations?
Our data processing infrastructure, again, has been built with the security and scalability in mind. We follow the best practices of the Salesforce and Amazon for scalability. So to answer your question, we don't have any limitation as such. We can handle any number of data at this point.
And somebody had popped a question. When you started your demo, they were curious because you showed the demo on standard objects, but can Delphi also work on custom objects as well as custom fields?
Yeah, Delphi can work on all standard and custom objects and also the standard and custom fields. We have different algorithms and implementations for different objects. For example, the case, handling duplicate cases need a whole different technique. So we have a different use case itself, the way we handle it efficiently. And not just that, we can also handle duplicates, not to like merge them, but to establish a relationship across different orgs as well.
Excellent. What about data security? Could you maybe answer questions about, you said Delphi is built inside Salesforce, but where does all of this processing occur?
Yeah, the data is completely secure. Like I showed you the list view, the data is right inside your Salesforce org. So you can see where the data is. So only the data used for processing is carried out. And again, it's encrypted and it is never stored on our site. So data is completely secure and safe on your site.
Excellent. We always need to make sure that data is secure. And last question, well, I guess two more questions. I think we have enough time to go through them. Does Delphi, what sort of support do we offer our clients?
The two support, again, first of all, to begin, we can help you with the quick installation and the setup. Again, the next one is we have the help center. You can use the help center and use the self-service to do the setup and again, follow the guidelines to establish everything. Or we can onboard your admins and the end user on a weekly basis or depending on the meeting. So you can use the Delphi efficiently.
Awesome. Thanks, Chethan. I think this last question, well, there's a couple of them, but I'm going to group them into one and I'll take it because it's a little bit on the pricing, but just for everyone, all of our pricing information is on our website. So if you go to www.delpha.io, you'll be able to find all of this information there. But we do a per user per month model, and that's at $29 per user per month. And there's actually no consumption limitations. So both on how many records you can process and then how many times you dedupe. So it's really sort of an awesome deal that just for one license, you can kind of get the full features and sort of use it as you wish. But with that, we're out of time. I'm going to thank Chethan for joining us and showing us that quick demo. I'm going to thank everyone who is here on this webinar for attending and giving us your time. Feel free to reach out to either of us if you have any other questions, or if you want, we have our website, which is a great resource that you're going to be able to find more details and answers to what we can provide to you. So thanks again. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.